2015. How are you guys doing? Come on, guys, I want to hear you. How are you doing? That is more like it. You have been a fantastic audience all day, and for that, I thank you. We've seen some great matches already, the last one being one that I honestly laughed at throughout, so well played to those guys. Coming up next are two teams that I can say I've got a little soft spot for, both of them. Our first team, let's go ahead and say they're probably looking to replicate their success right here that they had in 2014, but at the same time, they've arguably got the greatest name in League of Legends, Unicorns of Love. San Jose, please welcome to the stage, the Unicorns of Love. Now, our second team will definitely be trying to rebuild after losing Double Lift. That's something. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure they want to put on a great show for this home audience. So, Counter Logic Gaming. San Jose, please show your love for CLG. Both teams definitely looking to prove something. Both teams looking to do something right here on this stage for you, which means it's time to talk about how are they going to go about doing that, dissect things, get into the nitty-gritty. And the guy who leads us in that wonderful conversation is my brother, the Chobra Commander.
All right, we are here for the second match of the whole tournament. It is going to be Unicorns of Love going up against CLG. Now, we spent some time in the pre-show, and of course, when you're talking about Double Lift, you can't help but continue to talk about CLG. Double Lift himself saying, well, it's nice to play for kind of the crowd favorite right now. But CLG, let's talk about that team a little bit. I mean, what are we really expecting from them now that they've lost kind of their one carry ever?
They're a team that has no star player and a bunch of, I wouldn't say rookies, but players that have never really proven themselves in the professional scene.
Right.
I mean, they have Huni, who dropped out with Fusion, I think, about a year back. I think we played them in an expansion tournament. And then they have Stixay, who couldn't make it to playoffs the last Challenger Series. So I'm not really feeling this.
Just to clarify, Hoohee, not Huni. Don't get excited.
Yeah, Hoohee.
He hasn't role swapped yet.
Yeah, he'll be there.
We'll give him some time.
Yeah, I have to say, I mean, if you just look at this roster on paper as we're coming in, Hoohee is an unknown. They have scrimmed with him, I know, at times, and they said that they made the decision to put him in as the starter over Pobelter, so we'll have to see how he does individually. But, I mean, there's no denying that Stixay is just a straight downgrade out of Double Lift, at least for the moment. We'll see how he develops. He's a young player. Who knows what his ceiling is, but I'm not expecting a whole lot out of the CLG lineup at this point. I think they're going to need a lot more time.
Yeah, I mean, they had to go through quite a few changes. And of course, for them, it wasn't just the player changes. They also went through a slight change in their coaching staff. And now, leading them will be their new head coach, Zix.
Yeah, but Zix has been with the team. I mean, I worked with
Looking at last
Tony.
year, I learned a lot about coaching in general because after so long, I've had 3 different perspectives on coaching between Monte Cristo, Scara, and now Blurred Limes. And I feel like through all of that experience and all of that knowledge I've gained, I can finally turn the team into like what I want it to be and what I deem is the best. So looking at last split, I feel like we had a lot of strengths based on teamwork that no other team had. And I feel like overall that is what I want next year to be about. And it's all about, you know, everybody building each other up and everybody playing as a team. We have a really, really good focus as a team. And we always, you know what we should be focusing on. It's something that we train quite often. So everybody's pretty set on our goal, which is always going to be the game and not necessarily the crowd before the game. When we prepare for a team, we make sure that we look at every team's strengths and weaknesses so we can find the best way to approach that team with our strategy. And then we, look at player tendencies and all of these other things that I have now a group of analysts working on. And I use that information to be able to give us the best chance of winning. I am Tony Gray and I'm the head coach of CLG.
So, Monty, before Zix rudely cut you off, no, I'm just kidding. Before we cut you off.
I was going to say something nice about him, but screw that guy now.
Yeah, I mean, you've worked with him before.
Yeah. He started living in the CLG house when I was working with the team, and he's a very sharp guy, really knows his stuff about the game. And you said that there's been some changes. I mean, that's true, but Ziggs has always been the guy who's been there on comms with them at the matches. So from a pick ban perspective, from the actual hands-on coaching that goes into the game, I don't think that much has changed for them.
Okay.
And, he's really worthy of CLG's trust. He's been working with the team for years now, and I think he did a very good job last season, especially.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing to point out that it's simply more position change for him in terms of title, but like you said, he's always been there. He's seen the team grow, and he's seen them through these different iterations. He mentioned himself working with you, working with Chris, Blurred Limes, along the lines, and learning kind of different styles, too. So, again, I mean, I think you guys just put it right there as it is. There's no superstars. There's nothing you can really, hype up and particularly look forward to. It's just, all right, let's see how you do without double lift.
Is that Think Card?
That's not Stixay. They're not identical, as it turns out. We did see Stixay in the booth, so.
I mean, we talk about him not having a superstar, but Zion Spartan, at least domestically, did very well for CLG last season. He routinely was up at CS at 10, in the lane, especially on other top laners within NA. Now, he didn't have the best performances in international competition in the group stage of Worlds, but this is a guy who the team has really relied on. And for me, if CLG is going to win today, it's going to come through Zion Spartan really stepping up.
I completely agree. I mean, if there's anybody who's going to carry on the team, it's definitely going to be him. I don't see... I mean, who he's an unknown.
Right, but as, so from what we've seen so far, basically, it's now Zion's turn to really put everyone on his back if he needs to. On the other side, the Unicorns of Love, I mean, they had to go through their fair share of changes, too. That's kind of been the theme for this whole tournament this weekend in San Jose. And now them with Gilius in that jungle. Fox coming in mid after they lost Power of Evil. And Steelback coming in for AD carry. 3 new players. What do we think about this line? Is it kind of in the same boat where you're like, we don't really know who to put the spotlight on yet, at the very least?
It's just a weaker roster. Oh,
overall, yes, I agree. Completely a weaker roster. But when we look at Vizicachi, Fox, and Steelback, very early on in their careers, they played a lot more aggressively, and they were a lot more aggressive stylistically. But as they've come into the LCS, that's kind of backed off. Steelback, of course, known for being a less aggressive player. So I'm wondering if one of them is going to step back and kind of touch back to those early challenger scene roots.
I mean, you have to take a look at this Unicorns of Love roster and just say, objectively, they are significantly weaker. They've lost their best player in Power of Evil. Right. They replaced him with Fox, who can't have a good laning phase, but I've never really been impressed by his team fighting. And then we have Horo leaving, and Horo was actually a very bright spot towards the end of summer for Unicorns of Love, especially in the playoffs. Now he's gone too. The only place you could maybe point and say this is an upgrade, and I would say a slight one, is Steelback over Vardags. Slight.
Monty, in your expert opinion, do they need to bring back the Chaos style? Because I know how much you love that. I know how much you love it.
I don't think that they're going to have a choice, St. Vicious. I think the Chaos style is just within them, and it will manifest whether they want it to or not.
It's going to be beautiful, man.
I mean, that is how they kick things off for their career. And, of course, as Sean was saying during their introduction, I mean, they made a huge splash here. Last year, everyone remembers kind of the big wave of jungle TF and the terror that it was in solo queue afterwards for all the different regions.
I told people not to solo queue it.
I remember that too. You specifically said, I know everyone's going to want to try this. Please do not. And everybody still did.
Yeah, I didn't listen. That was a bad choice.
I tried it too. It didn't go so well.
No.
But, but that's something to mention is that, back then they had also maybe, in the same boat where they were like, that's kind of maybe the only way we're going to win. They had these unique medicine strategies, and they won by just creating chaos, making everyone a little bit confused on how to play League of Legends, and then they went on.
Didn't Visachachi play some unique picks in the last IM? I don't think he played Poppy in that tournament, but
He played
pretty much-
yeah, Poppy later, but
yeah.
Yeah, outside of Hylissang and Vardags, most of the roster is known for playing unconventional picks and really utilizing odd champions. And obviously 5.21 has been mostly figured out, or at least we feel like it was in the Kespa Cup, and especially with the Anivia pick coming in here today from TSM, it seems like teams have a good grasp on what they want to do, but we could see something completely new. It's not a patch that has a whole lot of games played on it overall.
yeah. I mean, if you feel like you're the underdog, at some point you just have to look at it and say, well, the only chance we have to win is by making it so the opponent doesn't know how to play League of Legends.
But I don't know if they are the underdog here.
Okay,
Brett. That's the thing. It's like, I don't even know which one of these. I don't know who I would put to win this match because they're so drastically changed and
Right.
arguably weakened by the offseason that I have no read on this.
Yeah, it sounds like overall the kind of rating stands at the same place for both teams, where it's like we have nothing to expect, but if we really have to pick it apart, probably a downgrade for now. Like the immediate change probably took them a step back. But we'll see. Of course, TSM surprised everyone. I mean, sure, everyone thought that team had potential with the new lineup, and they proved it so far. But we'll have to follow these lineups all the way through 2016 to really see how it works out for them.
I mean, one thing we can say for sure about this is that at the very least, the Unicorns of Love's players have played on a major stage. This is a big stage for Stixxay to be on. And
Very true.
Yeah.
Didn't he fill in
brand
for a
new.
little bit, or
Huh?
didn't he fill in for a little bit in the LCS at one point, or was he one of the sub people when CLG did? Okay, I'm just off.
I don't
filled in the
remember that,
challenger
but
scene.
I'm not confident enough. He did fill in the challenger scene.
Okay.
Right. I mean, but even so, one or two in a regular league, even if the stage is big and whatnot, even if there's a crowd, also the gravity where this is like, sure, not everything, it's not do or die time playing it into Extreme as San Jose, but at the same time, it's a single elimination. You lose and you're out. You're not going to play tomorrow. Whereas, well, it's just like you lose that one game. It's like, all right, well, that put a mark on our record, but you were also filling in for that week. There is different implications there. So I'm sure, I'm sure there's pressure on for 60 and even Huhi too, for sure. But I wouldn't say it's too different for Unicorns. You said all the players have that experience. We'll see how it carries through. Gilius, of course, had some great experience last year too.
Yeah, not very impressive though. He
the
had thing where
results were not impressive, but he
Yeah.
stood on that stage.
He did fill in at Worlds. He's used to the pressure.
Yep.
I'll give him that. But seeing the difference between him and Svenskeren when he did sub in,
Yes.
it was like night and day.
It didn't go so well for then, SK when he was with SK as a substitute. Now, you guys also mentioned Zion then probably going to have to step up for CLG, but, in NA, he's touted as a great top player, but when we were discussing the new lineups, at Worlds, didn't look so hot for Zion. Can we really count him as a strong top laner, or is it kind of we have to go back to the drawing board on really where he stands?
I think he had a bad tournament. I really do. I think, sure, top lane competition in NA has traditionally been very poor overall, and that you can factor that into it. But I really felt that he was off. His map awareness seemed to be a little bit shaky at the World Championship in particular. So I think that was an off tournament for him. I think we'll see him come back stronger in the next season.
Fair enough. Happens to everyone. Just something to keep note of. If you really, if you're especially a stats guy, you're going to be looking at that and saying, well, he did also have to play against different opponents. Maybe that just wasn't going to work out for him based on, what he was used to in the NALCS. You can read too into it. You don't have to read into it at all. That's something we'll have to just wait and see how it pans out for the next year. Well, it sounds like we don't really have much else to look into then. And I'm being straight up honest here, is that there's just so many unknowns between these two teams.
Well,
And that's the thing that I want to point out is that TSM coming in with Doublelift on their lineup, they played around Doublelift. That was their strategy both games. And that was a clear way that they could play. CLG just played that way. It's not the most complicated strategy to execute. Who's going to be the carry on either of these teams? Who's going to step up? What kind of strategy are they going to play? And really, what resources do they have? Because once again, all these players are unknowns. Who is a viable resource? Who is viable to put gold into, to funnel gold into, to make your carry? Or is it just going to be kind of a more chaotic style game?
Well, now that you brought it up, with CLG, we said, all right, if we had to pick one, maybe we can pick Zion Spar. And for Unicorns of Love, is there anyone you would really pick out? Or is that really just maybe, like Sifa said, maybe one of them goes back to their old impressive style?
I think Visachachi. I thought he was pretty solid when he played in the LCS, and he actually put up some pretty good games. Even when he's playing conventional picks, I think he's probably the strongest player on the team right now. Now they remove Power of Evil. So I think if they have anybody, it's going to be him. To be honest, this is just going to be watching, like, two kids from the chess club slapbox each other. This is going to be the most awkward game ever. I don't know.
Yeah, you thought Series 1 was sloppy.
Oh, yeah.
This is
great.
straight into the mud.
Probably will be. Given from what we've discussed and what anyone, you look at these lineups and, Doublelift has gone CLG, that one player leaving alone has made it so no one knows how the new CLG is really going to play.
Well, I wouldn't say it's just. I thought Pobelter was doing pretty good, and I still, to this day, I mean, I know it is counter logic gaming, and they're not supposed to make any sense, but that really didn't make any sense.
Isn't that the perfect matchup, though? You got counter logic gaming versus the team that basically invented chaos style, if we consider that a thing.
I see Monty's blood vessel popping out of his head right now.
Let's try to get it in there whenever I can.
It can be a thing. I mean, you know. No. Someday you'll have to accept the Monty. The denial phase is always the first phase. It'll come through. No, I have faith. Yeah, I mean, if they keep showing up in San Jose every year for Intel Extreme Masters and bringing it back, you never know. You might just have to cave to it, Monty. I'm just saying. Never know what the future's going to hold. But I don't think we're really going to necessarily see that level of strategic chaos, per se, this weekend. So as we're waiting, of course, we're just making sure that all the accounts we're just working out some of the kinks here for all the player stations. Also, just in case we kept mentioning it, I don't think we ever really touched directly on it. In case anyone is living under a rock, Power People left to join Origin. And some people might be there like, why is Power People not playing? He's playing for Origin now, so that's where they lost their best player to. Lots of shuffles. I mean, sure, CLG lost Doublelift, and then he went to TSM. Unicorns of Love is now here. Of course, Fnatic couldn't make it anymore. Unicorns comes here. They lose Power People. He goes to Origin. They could also end up playing in the finals against each other if Unicorns of Love moves on.
I'm actually curious how Fox is going to play with an arguably weaker jungle. I don't think anybody here is going to say that Gilius is a weaker jungle than Svenskeren, right?
Stronger jungle.
Yeah,
but yes.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm just like,
no one would ever say that.
Yeah, nobody's going to argue that.
Gilius is the best, and no one can question.
I love that guy, man. I got a plushie pillow of him. He's my favorite. But no, I think that I'm really curious how Fox is going to play in the lane phase. He plays really, really aggressive, and he always has the jungle in his pocket. He's one of those kind of people. It kind of reminds me of ManCloud and Smithy when they're on Vulcan together.
Yeah, I think my issue with that is that snowballing Fox rarely actually results in a game win. That was my biggest problem with Fox as a player back when he was on SK, is we'd see him play a Zed and get several kills, and then he would either team fight so poorly or make poor split pushing decisions that he would not be able to snowball his advantage. And that's what I'm going to be looking at today in terms of Fox.
Yep.
Okay. See if he's kind of changed that up so that he can be that carry. Because if if he changes that, would you say he could be kind of the
But he got the kills. He was fed by Svenskeren, so that's the thing.
what I mean is if he can actually now use those kills rather than simply getting them.
But will he even get an advantage?
I feel like we're in this awkward loop where it's like, you ask us to make a point, and then when the point ends, you're like, but can he be the carry? But do we really know?
Well, and I think we're proving a point here is that it's just a catch-22. I'm asking you guys to make a point, and you're saying, well, we can't. I mean, we just can't. We have to wait and see. And even this weekend alone probably won't tell us exactly what to expect in 2016 with these lineups. I mean, it's the first time they're playing with these formations. We'll just have to wait and find out. Guys, we are waiting. Sorry for the delay, but we will be jumping into that second best of 3 soon. Of course, tomorrow, Origin Engineer Green Wings. They've been waiting, and let's chat about that real quick as we wait for the pick and ban to come up. Origin, now that we've seen LGD get eliminated by TSM, is Origin now the favorite of the teams that are left?
I would say so.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a team that performed very well, exceeded expectations at the World Championship. I think that they've upgraded their mid lane. Now, of course, the synergy issue is there, but I think that with Power of Evil, he's coming in after a very strong season individually and can work with the team nicely. Origin also just doesn't have any other changes, and they've shown their strength. So for me, they're the favorites now in this tournament.
And, and comparing them to Jin Air obviously not playing with Chaser, or could be playing with Chaser, but it looks like Winged will start as he did in the Kespa Cup. They've been very adamant about starting those subs. See if that changes overall. But Kuzan and So On, just very new to the team. So On, as Monty pointed out earlier, is very rough player, formerly a Riven main, obviously a very stylish player, but getting a Riven main to like tone back and kind of play in a competitive environment, it's a little rough.
Hey, that's how Smeb started, man. Smeb was a Riven main as well.
Yeah,
okay?
but Smeb started in the dumpster. Let's be honest.
You know how long it took Smeb to get good? Like 3 years.
Hey, man.
But then he perhaps ended Hooney's career in top. So he did leave a mark. He did reach that epitome that he really wanted to, where he dueled someone else, ruined their career, and was like, I finally reached the top of my role. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't have much left, hopefully, until the issues are resolved and we can get into that pick and ban. But we're going to take a short break. When we come back, I hope we will jump right into the picks and bans between Unicorns of Love and CLG.